Hi there, it's Unicorn, and today I'm here to slightly wrap up all the books on the shortlist of Women's Prize for Fiction since I have read all of them, and also depends on what time you are watching this video. We may still have time until the winner be announced. So I have also a little amateur prediction of the winner, and we'll see how that goes. Also, the only books that I haven't reviewed on my channel on the shortlist is An American Marriage, which you can expect next week. To start off, I want to say this is a very weird shortlist for me because there are a couple of books that I don't understand why they're on the shortlist, and also there are a couple of books that I think is way better than some of the books on the shortlist. And yes, I'm talking about Ordinary People. If you haven't watched my review yet, basically I think the book has a lot of upsetting, depressing, frustrating marital problems, which purely caused because of the protagonists are so self-absorbed and on some level selfish, and also mixed in a very unnecessary supernatural element, and also the writing was not particularly impressive. I only give Ordinary People 2.5 stars, but that is purely my opinion, so if you love the book, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Please comment down below. And when I was reflecting on the shortlist of previous years, I recalled that last year, I also had a book that I'm not satisfied on the shortlist, which is The Idiot by Alf Butman. So I think it's safe to say that I'm not 100% agree with the shortlist every year, which is understandable, I think. Thinking about how The Idiot was talking about the college life of millennials, it is very hard for me to accept that The Idiot went to the shortlist last year, but Normal People did not make to the shortlist this year. Because basically Normal People is talking about millennials' college life in its majority chunk as well, and in my opinion, Normal People is way better. Although I don't think it's fair to compare books from year to year like this, even when you compare the books within this year's shortlist or the long list, I think Normal People is better than some of the books on the shortlist. For example, Ordinary People, and oddly the meanings of the title is very similar in my opinion. Another book that I don't understand why it's on the shortlist is My Sister the Serial Killer, but it is totally a different story because I enjoyed this book a lot. It is a very entertaining, fast-pacing mystery novel talking about, from the title you already know that the protagonist's sister was a serial killer, and when you are reading this book, you gotta find out why she's killing and the whole background story behind it. But I just don't think it is a literary prizes shortlisted type of book, which sounds really bad when I say it out loud, but if you know what I mean, you will understand, I think. I think this book is lacking some of the criteria that we're thinking about or will look up to a literary prizes. That reminded me a discussion that we had on BookTube last year, which I didn't participate in, but I watched a lot of videos about it, is can genre fiction be listed to the prize lists of literary prizes? Because normally, literary prizes are for literary fiction, and a very few genre fictions made to the prizes, and we were surprised to find there were at least two genre fictions on the long list of Man Booker Prize last year, from my recall, and people are discussing about it. I still don't have a set conclusion of this question of my own, but I do like that literary prizes are branched out to different genres or more diverse topic of books to include in their list, because I think a lot of readers are looking up to those lists to find new books to read, and this is more a encouraging way to include more books or more type of books. But as you can tell, I'm not 100% sure about my thoughts on this, because when I was reading My Sister a Serial Killer, I still feel it's not a shortlisted type of book. Some of the books that I'm generally happy for, and I'm glad if any of them are the winner, are the rest of the books. My favorite on the shortlist is The Silence of Girls. However, I don't think it will win because it has a lot of critiques that I get from other readers, and also less people are talking about this book, especially when you are comparing it to Circe. The main critiques of The Silence of Girls that I saw from other readers are part of the book is narrated by this third-person perspective and talking about the things happened between the men. And I totally get why people are not happy about it, because you're supposed to present a female's voice to the silent history, and you're supposed to emphasize the female's life by their own voice. However, I do like the fact that part of the story was narrated that way, because I think it's emphasized how the females in those stories are muted because their life was not complete by their own voice. You have to listen to some things happened between the men because the females are not present at the moment which decided their fate. So if The Silence of the Girls wins, I think it will be a amazing surprise to me, but I don't think that will be the case. And among the rest of the books, An American Marriage I gave 3.5 stars. I love the concept and the message it delivered. However, I think the ending of the book was a little bit cheesy and a little bit too easy for me. So that's my big critique of that book, and that's why I didn't give it a 4-star like Circe and Milkman. And between Circe and Milkman, the two books that I gave 4-star for, by the way, I gave The Silence of the Girls 4.5 stars, so it's the best on my list. And between Circe and Milkman, here comes to my amateur prediction. I think maybe the winner will be Circe, just purely because I saw more people talking about Circe. And Milkman, I think it already won the Man Booker last year, but I think Man Booker and Women's Prize for Fiction had slightly different personalities, so I don't think the winner of them will be overlapped this year, but I'm not sure. And I'm very biased here because I don't read a lot of professional reviews for the book, and also my sample size of the reviews that I watched or I read is very small. So I only got the idea from the people that I watched or the review that I read that Circe is more popular or is more praised than the Milkman. However, what do I know? Why I'm talking about this? So overall, although I don't agree with the shortlist 100%, but I did enjoy the reading process of it, and I really enjoyed making the reviews, although sometimes I do struggle with them. One thing that I'm most happy for is that I discovered Circe and The Silence of the Girls. They are fantasy and they are mythology retelling, which if you stayed on my channel for any period of time, you will know that fantasy is not my genre, and I never read a mythology retelling before, but I did really love those two, so that made me want to read more from that genre, and maybe I will discover something that I love that I didn't know before. So that's all my thoughts on the shortlist of Women's Prize for Fiction, and like I said, I will be happy if either The Silence of Girls, Circe, or Milkman wins. And if The Ordinary People wins the prize, I think I need to have some time to rethink my relationship with the Women's Prize for Fiction. If you have any thoughts about the shortlist of Women's Prize for Fiction or even the long list, please let me know in the comment section down below, and we will figure out who is the winner this year in a couple of hours. And also, don't forget to say hi. I hope you're happy reading. I'll see you in my next bookish video. Bye!